Ghana and Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. KPMG senior partner. And Tony, before you go, one second before you go, 3 things I got from your presentation: 420 million unemployed across the continent, 12 million added every year, and you left 3%. 2 is a ready idea, and 3 is discipline. Of the 3, which is the most important?
Discipline is the most important thing, because you can have the idea, you can have all the resources. If you are not disciplined and committed, you will lose it. But if you are, you will make it. Even when you fall, you get up and rise and continue.
Why don't you show him some love? Hello, Cape Coast. Please extend this more for me. Go to level 2. Hello, Cape Coast. Okay, we'll reserve the level 5 for Minister. I want to move to level 3 now, because today we are here in Cape Coast and we are being hosted by the University of Cape Coast, the greatest university in the whole world. And we are grateful that when we called the Vice Chancellor of this institution, not only did he welcome us with open arms, he actually said, this in the next few years will be the entrepreneurial hub of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next 5 minutes, let's receive, bringing us our welcome address, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Johnson Buampon. Let's put our hands together for him. Go ahead, Prof.
Okay. Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori Atta, Registrar of University of Cape Coast, the incoming Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Cape Coast, Deans, Provost Deans, Directors, Heads of Department present, the Executive Director of Springboard Roadshow Foundation, Mrs. Comfort Okran, government officials present, Nananom, guest speakers, distinguished invited guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome you all to the Springboard, warmly welcome you all to the University of Cape Coast, the University of Competitive Choice. Honorable Minister, the COVID-19 pandemic had caused a great reset in the way academic institutions, corporate bodies, and indeed the global society at large have to conduct themselves in order to survive after the aftermath of the pandemic. The new normal, as it is referred to, calls for adaptation of new ways to provide greater range of options, as well as speed and agility to a world that is in their need of creative solutions for survival. Through teaching, research, and advocacy, universities over the world are expected to redouble their efforts to work alongside corporations, governments, non-governmental organizations as they search for new business, scientific models, and policies to assist the Great Reset. Honorable Minister, with so many lives turned upside down and millions of jobs destroyed, the entrepreneurial ability to create new products and services leading to employment would enhance sustainability, which is central to the global economic recovery. It is in the light of this that I see today's gathering of brilliant minds in the #1 ranked university in Ghana, West Africa, 4th in Africa, and among the best 350 universities all over the world. I believe the gathering would motivate us to rethink and identify innovative ways to create opportunities for our generation and those yet unborn. As a university, we have followed with keen interest the great efforts being made by the government to empower the youth to develop creative and entrepreneurial mindset with the ultimate aim of making them competitive globally. Several examples could be cited. National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, which had as its primary objective to empower the youth by providing an integrated national support for startups and small businesses. In the daily graphic of Monday, November 22nd, for example, the Honorable Minister of Finance was quoted as saying that the government had planned to roll out a 10 billion Ghana cedis package over the next 3 years to support startup businesses and youth entrepreneurship ventures in the country. This aligns with our vision as a university and my vision strategy as Vice Chancellor of building an entrepreneurial university that seeks to develop the entrepreneurial abilities and competencies of students, staff, and the community. As a university, we are well positioned to partner government and non-governmental agencies to take up this challenge of urgent call to action. We have, in collaboration with German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, SIQA and AFOS Foundations, already set up ultra-modern facilities to undertake the GCAP project to nurture the entrepreneurial and employability skills of youth in information and communication technology. Again, Honorable Minister, we have established in the University of Cape Coast Design Thinking, Innovation and Entrepreneurial Hub to nurture and grow innovative business ideas of students and staff, as well as grow entrepreneurial leaders who will serve as agents of change within their communities. Other initiatives being implemented include a robust university-wide entrepreneurship program for all level 300 students, and the provision of business incubators to consciously empower students to identify business ideas and grow them viably. In addition, the Students' Representative Council have imbibed the entrepreneurial idea and are working assiduously to assess the innovative business ideas for their peers. There had been programs like the second edition of Africa's Best Idea Challenge in September this year, under the theme, Growing Ghana Beyond Aid Through Enterprise Development. Student Entrepreneurship in Focus, which was drawn between the School of Business and Students' Representative Council. There had also been collaboration between the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program and the School of Business to strategically support the entrepreneurial ideas of the youth in the central region of Ghana. We are truly ready to partner the government and all stakeholders to build our youth to become global citizens who are ready to solve problems which confront our country. Springboard-Ghana Foundation and all the objectives it seeks to achieve. I thank the Executive Director of the Springboard-Ghana Foundation and her team for choosing UCC as the venue for this program. I therefore commend the Ministry of Finance and Executive Director of the Springboard Show for joining forces through various programs to create jobs, stimulate innovation, and startups having youth in mind. Please participate and grab the opportunities that the program presents. You are in the University of Cape Coast, which is ranked by the prestigious Times Higher Education as the best university globally for research influence. We are ready to share our research findings with all stakeholders who have the development of our nation at heart. Our forefathers have worked so hard to bequeath a beautiful country, Ghana, to us. It is our turn to build on the foundation they have laid. On this note, I want to once again welcome you all to our prestigious campus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Professor Johnson Buampo, reminding us of the prestigious University of Cape Coast. One more time, let's put our hands together for him. We are live on a number of media networks. Nanama, tell us where we are.
Definitely. We are live on ATL 100.5 megahertz on UCC campus. Again, we are live on Darlin 90.9 FM in Cape Coast as well. Again, we are streaming live on social media, Facebook, Albert N.E. Okran, Comfort Okran A, and Springboard RS. Again, we have some participating institutions here with us. You know, let's do it this way. If you hear your name, just make a wow.
That's it.
Make a wow noise. Let's hear about you.
And the more reason why you must make it is that we are monitoring on Facebook and so many people are saying, wow, we envy you because you are there in person. Let your friends watching on Facebook know that you are having a blast here. So when they mention your institution, let's hear the extended wow. Okay, let's go.
Definitely. And so we have Yedie Youth Association. Can we hear wow? Oh, Yedie, are you here?
Maso Youth Network, let's hear it for you.
Commander College of Education.
Asida Foundation, all the way from Tadi and Cape Coast, let's hear it. Cape Coast Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry, let's hear it for you. Wesley Girls SHS, let's hear it. That's a very college. Wow. All right, oh, they're outside. Okay, so just to mention that by the time the program started at 9:30, the hall was full, so we have lots of you outside. So please acknowledge the wows from outside. And Fansfield School, let's hear a wow for you. On my left-hand side, outside. Okay, so let's hear the wow for them, please. Next is
the Psychiatric and Nursing Training College. Are you here?
You're at the back.
Woo! Thank you for coming.
St. Augustine's College.
Oh no, yeah, I heard the deep voices.
The fancy one was louder than yours. The fancy was louder than the St. Augustine's. St. Augustine's. Okay, I heard you now.
Okay, the National Association Beauticians and Hairdressers. Are you here?
My friends on the right. Okay, let's go.
National Service Personnel Association. Are you here? Yeah, that's the future.
Cape Coast International SHS. Are you here? All right, we can hear you. Let's go.
Uncle Rich SHS. Are you here?
Jomas Vocational School.
Jomas Vocational School.
Obama College.
Agri Memorial SHS. Woo! That's great.
Grace Hill SHS. Are the Hobsons here? Holy Child
Holy Child School.
Kosi Yankee, you should join them and say the wow with them. All right, so
wow.
Kosi Yankee said the wow before the students even said it. All right, before we receive from our Honorable Deputy Minister, let's take 3 minutes. Many of you are asking about Springboard, and the Vice Chancellor mentioned Springboard. Auntie Eva mentioned Springboard. Many of you are asking, how did we get here, and how did the youth dialogues commence? In the next 3 minutes, let's watch the Springboard story.
Enjoy.
The school came into formation as a result of a program are attended by Springboard Roadshow.
We walked away from our thriving publishing business to help nurture entrepreneurs and help mentor the next generation of young leaders across Ghana and Africa.
Springboard has traveled across the country every single year. Indeed, the testimonies and the stories are simply amazing.
By their nurturing and their mentoring, I have been able to grow my business and currently pursuing law.
I find myself working across the world, but I'm still using the principles that I had learned from them on the Springboard brand.
I was selling ice cream on the street with no hope, but today, thanks to Springboard, I'm a hospitality manager.
The MasterCard Foundation commissioned Springboard to execute the COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program, CORE.
The CORE program targeted young people across the country.
They had a lot of challenging conditions, emotionally and psychologically.
The program was translated into 4 local languages as well as a sign language. It enabled us to reach the most vulnerable, especially those in rural communities across the country.
We were able to support 23 million young people in Ghana and across Africa. 200 of their success stories are captured in this inspiring publication. Ghana, and by extension Africa, has a teeming young population with 60% of them below the age of 25. That represents an opportunity for economic growth and a security threat. In the past year, tensions threatened to boil over. Springboard responded with the Youth Dialogues, a platform for engagement between the young people and policymakers. Henry Crown Fellow and Finance Minister of Ghana, Ken Ofori Atta, traveled with our team across the country, imbibing in these young people entrepreneurship, resilience, and values.
I visited Tamale and Sunyani and interacted with thousands of young people as part of the Springboard Foundation program. We have listened to them and heard their concerns.
The future of Africa is bright because every year we see our mentees assuming even more significant roles and making a difference in their own way.
Springboard taught me strong ethics and values, and after many years I've received several recognitions for my work.
I have been able to establish a fashion company and have employed people. I also train other people.
We look forward to raising more African entrepreneurs as we contribute to achieving the sustainable development goals. No youth must be left behind.
Wow. Tell somebody, no youth must be left behind. Tell the person, you can't be left behind. We've gotten to level 4 in the wow. Level 4. And find this video on YouTube. Just go to YouTube at Albert Okran, find this video, and then share your Springboard experience. Let the world know how Springboard has been of benefit to you. But we've come to level 4 in the wow, and at this point, it is my absolute pleasure to remind us that the minister did not come alone, but he also came with a full squad, including the Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance and Member of Parliament, Dr. John Ampontua Kuma, telling us about YouStart and other government interventions. Please, let's hear a big hello, Cape Coast. That was level 2. This is the Honorable Deputy Minister. Let's give him a level 4. Wow. Hello, Cape Coast.
Wow.
All right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Honorable. It's your turn.
Thank you very much, Reverend Albert and our mother, Comfort Okran. Please, it's a pleasure to be on your platform. We appreciate the Springboard Foundation. Cape Coast. Please help me to give it to the minister, the Honorable Ken Ofori Atta. Please clap for him. He's such a wonderful person. I am privileged to serve as a deputy minister to a man of vision. He has a passion for the youth of this country, and his development agenda for Ghana is anchored on the vision for youth, entrepreneurship, and empowerment. So he's somebody who thinks about how you will succeed today and tomorrow. Please, let's clap again for the Honorable Minister for Finance. And thank you to Professor Johnson Buampong for hosting us, and all protocol observed. My brother Ochiame, my Kentin Chrono mate. I'm here to talk to you about opportunities in the 2022 budget and the path to creating the 1 million jobs that His Excellency the President, through the Finance Minister, has promised Ghanaians. And the 2022 budget is anchored on job creation, creating a sustainable entrepreneurial nation, focusing on job creation. And we have done so by reviewing a number of taxes. In fact, in the 2022 budget, we have removed about or reduced about 5 taxes, and we have introduced one. That is the innovative e-levy that will accelerate growth, improve digitalization, entrepreneurship, and roles. It will also ensure reduction in our debt portfolio and continuation of flagship programs. This is to make sure that in future, when it is your turn to govern this nation, you are not burdened with too much debt. Ghana cannot continue to be borrowing. So we have introduced an innovative tax process that will help us reduce our debt as a country. So we have no choice but to change the status quo, because so many young people are coming out of schools every year. And unfortunately, the numbers that require job opportunities cannot be sustained if all of us do not become innovative and creative, and also end up as entrepreneurs, so that we can create opportunities for ourselves and create for other people too. So the 2022 budget addresses the issue of job creation. And if you check the population census by the National Statistical Service, Ghana has increased from 6.7 million in 1960 to 30.8 million population by 2021. And it means that the country is getting younger. If you look at the population in terms of age, 80 million Ghanaians are between the age of 15 and 35 years. And over 50% of tertiary enrollments in our various campuses occur in fields that are limited or with very less growth in terms of future opportunities for job creation. So how do we ensure that we are able to create this 1 million jobs for all young people in the next 3 years? So as government, we want to focus about 3 areas. 1, we want to improve access to financing and access to market linkages for young people. And 2, we will revamp institutional arrangements. And 3, focus on skills development, entrepreneurial support, and business advisory services. When we talk about these opportunities for training and skills development, we are not only talking about students on campuses alone. We are also happy to support those who are out of school and are the informal sector. Our Hairdressers and Beautician Association, I'm sure you are here. Give me high up. Thank you very much. So you are all part of this bigger vision to ensure that whether you are in school or you are out of school, you receive support from government to be able to scale up your skills. Government has already done a lot for youth. Government set up the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. We have the free SHS, which is making sure that every Ghanaian child receives free education in our country up to secondary school level. And we are creating opportunity for you to do your national service even on your own businesses. And NEIP and NSS have come together to collaborate to ensure that after university, if you want to do your service, you can do so. Also, those of you in the second cycle level, you know we have set up various entrepreneurship clubs on your campuses. So you can contact NEIP. If you don't have entrepreneurship club on your campus, we can help set you up so that you can also benefit from this funding arrangement from government. Government has set up NAPCO, with about 100,000 graduates. We have transformed the Youth Employment Agency, recruiting about 80,000 beneficiaries across the country. And now Ghana is the headquarters for AFTA, which means that your marketing opportunity is not just the 30.8 million population. You can target the entire Africa, which is about 1.2 billion. And so when you are planning or innovating your products, look beyond Ghana as far as your market is concerned. We also want to promote enhanced access, and to do that, the government is announcing a very unique program called the You Start. And in the 2022 budget, government has already set aside 1 billion Ghana cedis as part of the 10 billion cedis arrangement in the next 3 years to support young people who want to go into entrepreneurship. This money is available for all young people. And I can tell you, this is the first time I have seen serious commitment by any government in our country, especially in this Fourth Republic, where it is not just by talk, but real action, proper allocation of financing to young people to be able to do your own businesses. And the You Start product will be open to any person between the ages of 18 and 35 years. And I believe many of you here will qualify for that opportunity. So applicants of You Start will be invited to apply for the financial support through a dedicated You Start online portal or any of the GEO NEIP offices. So when we set up the portal for application, you can choose to apply either through NEIP or through the GEA portal, and then you qualify to go through the training and capacity building processes, and then you can qualify for micro loans and startup packs. So we have soft loans up to 50,000 Ghana cedis, in particular for young graduates and school leavers, as I've already talked about. Then we have startup packs. So those of you who are into beauticians or the dressmakers, you can have opportunity for your machines to be purchased for you as part of the You Start program. And then those of you who are groups and associations, you can apply up to for a facility up to 100,000 Ghana cedis if you apply as a group or association, so that we can assist you. And then beyond the GEA and NEIP microfinancing, we also have participating financial institutions or our banks who have a standardized loan package of between 100,000 Ghana cedis to 400,000 Ghana cedis as concessional rate for SMEs from financial institutions. So this is going to be a new era. It is not bring us collateral when we know you don't have any houses. The interest rate, as we have agreed with the participating banks, will not exceed more than 10%. So we are going to make sure there are easy processes for this application, and you can apply in every branch of those participating banks across the country. You don't have to come to Accra. So you can stay in Cape Coast, walk to any GCB or CBG bank branch, and then process your applications there. Beyond that, we are focusing on business advisory and training. And then the universities, I was happy when Professor Johnson Wampon talked about the preparedness and readiness of UCC to partner with government to train entrepreneurial nation or to build graduates with focus on entrepreneurship. That's exactly what government wants to do. And as part of this package, there will be a special fund set aside for universities who will be required to apply, but you need to match up the funds so that we can have a dedicated funds on every university campus for these startup ideas to apply whilst they are on campus. And we believe that as part of that, you are even going to allow successful startup businesses to take off 1 year or 2 years of their studies program, go and pursue their business and come back and graduate. Before their graduation, they are even CEOs. This is the kind of mindset we want to promote in our country. And we encourage young people. This is the best time to be a young Ghanaian. And thanks to the Honorable Ken Ofori Atta, he's making it possible in terms of financial allocation so that we can start the ideas that we have in our minds. So the Youth Start will ensure that young people receive support early, especially to develop their business ideas, and then those who do well will have a transition process to now apply to whether the Venture Capital Trust Fund or any of the banks that are participating in this program, and then eventually the brightest and best will be moved to the Development Bank Ghana for larger scale financing. I hope you have heard about the Development Bank Ghana. That's a new bank that is going to be set up to provide special long-term patient capital to even banks and other financial institutions. And the facilities you get through this DBG or this Development Bank of Ghana should be enough to help you to scale up to whatever levels you want to go. Government will not leave any youth behind. And we are seeking to revamp existing youth institutions like the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, the GEA, the National Youth Authority, One District, One Factory, NABCO, Youth Employment Agencies, CODVET, among many others. So we are going to have a working committee with representatives from these youth agencies so that we can share our strength in terms of resources and make sure that we are able to reach out to every Ghanaian in every part of our country. So youth in One District, One Factory. In this 2022 budget, out of the 271 One District, One Factory that government announced that it's ongoing, about 58 are fully owned by young groups and associations across the country. That means that we are not leaving the youth behind. They are owning their own state-of-the-art agro-processing factories in 58 districts under what is referred to as the Enable Youth 1D, 1F initiative. This initiative will also be accelerated in the 2022 budget, and you can visit your district assembly for information on how, as a young person, you and your friends can also start a One District, One Factory and receive support from government. We are also setting up 10 regional youth resource centers, and these centers have 8-lane athletic track, FIFA standard football pitch, tennis court, basketball court, handball court, fully furnished gym, counseling unit, ICT section, entrepreneurship center, and a restaurant in all the 10 regions. In fact, it started before the other 6 regions came. So we are making arrangements to extend it to the 6 new regions in the 2022 budget and beyond. So clearly, there are facilities and infrastructure across the country where young people, including those of us in Cape Coast, you can find out where your youth resource center is and go for support. And then also the national service, as I've already stated, is also being encouraged to open more doors for young entrepreneurs, and you can apply through Youth Start to fund your business whilst you are doing your service. So national service, I hope you are here. National Service Association, are you there? So once even you are doing your national service, you can also apply for financing support if you have a good idea from the Youth Start program. So the reach of the YEA will also be expanded, and we will encourage everybody to get on board. So finally, on the skills development for all, we are targeting to train about 60,000 young people on digital skills, and about 8,000 of them will go through the Ghana Tech Lab Innovation Hub and the Kumasi Incubation Center. The banking industry to collectively engage skills development programs for at least 150,000 young graduates and young entrepreneurs over the next 3 years. And starting next year, the Department for Community Development will also train about 5,000 young people in vocational and technical skills and 2,600 youth in employable skills on income-generating activities, trades, and crafts. So in conclusion, government is doing its part to create the enabling environment for young people to gain the skills, experience, and the capital required to pursue entrepreneurship. The 2022 budget is a budget for the youth to empower you and to make you ready for the paradigm shift that is happening across the country, building a sustainable entrepreneurial nation. Seize the opportunities now, because this is your time. Thank you, and God richly bless you.
Honorable Dr. John Amponto Akuma. Let's put our hands together. Honorable Dongo. Let's put our hands together for him. I know what I'm talking about. If you increase the applause, he will add on to our wow moment. Please, let's give a warm round of applause to Dr. John Kuma. Honorable, as a member of parliament who sits with your constituency into the night, listening to their concerns, especially of the young people, which part of what you have announced fires you up the most? All the initiatives you've announced, which one fires you up the most?
The part that fires me the most is the opportunity for adequate patient capital for young startups in Ghana.
I'll tell you why that is critical. 26 years ago, we started our flagship business, Comfort and I, Combat Impressions. And if you talk about patient capital, at that time, we did not get those opportunities. And we made several mistakes, and we went through several difficult moments to try and build from scratch with no support. And it's exciting to know that young people are not just being encouraged to go into entrepreneurship, but the resources are being made available for them to do it big time. Next year, by this time, when we gather, how many impact stories do you want to hear from Cape Coast?
Oh, I want to hear a lot, and there are a lot of ideas here. I remember I used to attend their biochemistry week on the UCC campus when I was CEO for NEIP. And they blew my mind with so many innovations from local materials, including crops and roots, and the kind of things they were innovating. It was wonderful.
Let me keep you here. Let me bring Clement and Sam for a minute. Clement and Sam, you mentioned the number of banks that will be working with us. Clement, come up. I like the feely nature of this program. It's not, as they say, talk. Clement, you are from the CBG. You are one of the partner banks for the YouStart implementation. Yes, Honorable has mentioned the banks working with us to get this on the ground. Give us an idea about what your bank will be doing.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Prof. And then my good friend. I guess he's surprised to see me here because he's we sat in the same doctoral class, and then he's one of the guys who are doing great things in the area of entrepreneurship. I've told you, I mean, at our level, but today let me tell the whole world that he's one of the guys that we should watch out. You are doing so well.
We thank God for that. Yeah. Help us to know how people can reach CBG.
So what we are, Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, a lot have been said about the entrepreneurship and all other stuff. We have come to assure the House that everything being discussed here is active and live. As a bank and as a full-fledged government bank, what we have decided to do is to set aside 600 million Ghana cedis to support the SME space. And this one, because I represent the managing director of CBG, the person of Daniel Wosinado, I am trying to say, apart from that one, the SME stage, we have also set aside 100 million Ghana cedis to support the YouStart. So, what we are saying is that at the micro level, you can access up to 20,000. And then there's a moratorium up to 12 months. And then you can also repay between a period of 36 months up to 6 years.
Thank you very much. Don't go. Just for the benefit, Honorable, I'm doing this as somebody who moderates radio programs. I want somebody to live here with a very clear understanding. So the person may not even know what moratorium is. You mentioned patient capital. So you are saying that at the micro level, somebody can get up to 20,000, and for the first 1 year, repayment will be suspended so they can take their time and grow the business.
Exactly.
Is that a good idea? Let's put our hands together for CBG. Please give us more details, and after that, you tell us where to find you, because some of the people who were here before you came mentioned what they are doing. I want them to know where they can find you and action this immediately. So the micro level is 20,000. What's the next level?
The micro level is taking up to 20,000. The small are taking between 20,000 to 70,000 Ghana cedis. And then the medium will be taking 70,000 to 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Before you go on, what qualifies somebody as small, micro, small, and medium? Do you want to know? How many of you are micro? Somebody said to me, you know what, I don't care about micro, medium, or small. All I need is 20,000 and I'll be fine. How many are here like that? All you need is a little push and you'll be fine. All right, let's talk about interest. What is the interest on these loans?
It is at a concessional rate of 10%, not exceeding 10%.
What is the general commercial rate?
General commercial rate, it depends from sectorial, but I think that its average is around 18 and 23.
Okay, so you are saying that a bank loan is between 18 and 23, but you are coming down to 10% for the small businesses. Let's put hands together for CBG. Final question. If somebody wanted to apply, should they come to the managing director in Accra? If somebody wanted to apply, should they come to Accra and come to the office of the managing director? How can they find you?
No, we have 114 branches in the country. We are represented at almost every district capital in the country, and then almost all the regional capital, we are there. In Cape Coast specifically, we have a branch on UCC, just at the cafeteria building. And so if you want to apply, like Honorable explained, there's going to be a portal. So that's the first stage, and then they will link you to the financial institution. But in case you want to locate us, Swedro, we are there. Maybe we are in Cape Coast, so I can say that we have a branch at Dunkofen. We are here, Swedro, Winneba, Kasua, we have 2 branches. So you can just visit any branch of CBG and then apply.
Final question. Somebody says, I don't have a house as collateral. I'm just a startup business. What do you have to say to them?
Albert, yeah, you see, personally, let me share something personal with you. I personally think that the very reason why a lot of entrepreneurs fail in Ghana is the collateral issue. So you see, hitherto this program, introduction of this program, you start with some capital, and then because a lot of us are full aware that banks are interested in collateral, they use, cash meant for business to put up some building just to satisfy the bank, so that when you come and you request for a facility, they will use. But by the time they end up building, the business has collapsed. And so we have discussed that one, even had doctoral class. What we are doing is that all the loans, CBG, even apart from our own traditional facilities we have, we do not take collateral, assessing up to 400,000 Ghana cedis in our bank.
That is good news for young people going into business. Let's put our hands together. Thank you, Clement, and thank you, Honorable John Ampuntu Akuma. Let's put our hands together for Dr. John Kuma as he goes back to his seat. Very critical questions being answered by Clement. I'm going to bring Minister on in a couple of minutes, and so please breathe in very deeply, because as for the wow, it must go up to level 7. It used to be 5, but after having heard about this collateral matter, I think we must take it to about 7. I'm going to come to Kosi Yankee and then Auntie Eva in 30 seconds. Tell me, let me start with you, Anthony. Tell me, listening to all that is going on here, you didn't get that when you were in university, or you came out of university, but how does it feel listening to all this?
Thank you very much. It's a wow feeling. It's a very exciting feeling. And I would have wished that in my time You were born earlier to bring Springboard, and I would have had this opportunity. But nonetheless, I think it gives me the opportunity to encourage the youth here present and all over listening to us on other networks that this is your time, seize the moment, and let us build Ghana and Africa together.
Wonderful. Tony Sapon is the senior partner of KPMG, one of the world's leading consulting firms. I'm going to come to you, Kosi Yankee, for 30 seconds. Just leading this humongous effort. Do you sleep at night?
I try to, but it's not easy.
It's not easy. Listen, you are spearheading this as an implementing agency. Next year, by this time, when we come back, how many success stories do you want to see from Cape Coast?
Thousands of success.
Thousands?
Yes.
You have to make it happen.
And I know it will happen.
You know it will happen?
It's important.
Are you prophesying?
Yes, I am.
Let's put our hands together for Kosi Yankee. In exactly 5 minutes, the minister will come up, and we are just warming up as we get ready to receive him. Antiva, you started this whole conversation with Ghana Cares. I like the name, Obatampa.
Yes.
Tell me, as somebody who's been part of this journey for quite a while, how does it make you feel that we are at this important crossroads as we push on to youth entrepreneurship?
I think that everyone here, every young person here has a unique opportunity today to be inspired and to rethink what has been the traditional way of doing things. I hope that by the time we leave here, by the time the Honorable Minister finishes speaking to everyone and we are done, every young person here will go home inspired and wanting to accomplish something on their own with the support of government and GNA. That's what we hope to achieve.
It's so beautiful. Last night, as we were getting this place ready, I was talking to a young person and I asked him, have you ever dreamt of owning your own business? And he said, that's for some people. And then I asked him, what about you? We spoke for just 3 minutes, Comfort and I with him, and then just said a prayer with him. And then after that, he was so energized and he says, I can do it. And when I'm opening my business, I'll invite you to the inauguration. It was very beautiful to hear that. It was just fire in his bones. How many of you have fire in your bones? Fire in your bones. You know what? If your fire is at a low level, I'm going to increase the temperature before I bring on the minister. Because ready now is my friend and my brother, okay, to give us one song before we welcome the minister. Ladies and gentlemen, Ochiami is coming. This guy.
All right. Honorable Midamasi. So let me just say that this is a great time to be young. If you feel it's a great time to be young, say wow. Say wow. I'm telling you, the problem of unemployment is the solution for your development. Think about that one once the honorable gets here.
You know what, Achami? Promise me that after honorable, you will come and do another song before the wow moment.
Yes, I'll come because I see that they want more.
All right. I'll tell you what. It's going to be a very, very, very exciting time. Honorable Minister, as I indicated to you, we planned this program originally for 1,000 people. As we speak, we have crossed 3,200 people. There are more people outside than there are inside, and we try to control the numbers, but people just want to hear you. And today, the place will shake in a way you've never seen it before. I tell you what, before Honorable comes, two very important logistical announcements. Because of the numbers, the food will be served right where you are. So don't move after the program. We will not have lunch outside anymore. We'll bring the food to you in the park right where you are, so we can have some control of the crowds. Secondly, this is important. Secondly, for those who came late, after minister speaks, the wow moment is a springboard constant for the past 15 years. Every time after the learning, there is the fun. And every city we go, we give out 2 smartphones. It was only in Accra that Honorable John Kuma added 1 last minute to make it 3. But we constantly give out 2 phones. In Cape Coast, we started with 3 phones because Cape Coast is different. Are you excited? And not just that, this morning, because at 9:30 the place was full, we added to the grand prize 1,000 Ghana cedis. So the winner of the grand prize will not just get a phone, but get 1,000 Ghana cedis. And then when Auntie Eva finished her presentation, just because you gave her such a warm round of applause, she added another 1,000 cedis to the grand prize. Please, before I call Minister, Honorable John Kuma is back here. Honorable John Kuma, you know what? You are a young person because you are part of the youth. So tell me, what are you adding to the wow woman today?
2 more phones.
2 more phones? Wow! Please give him a big wow. Hello, Cape Coast!
Wow!
So 5 smartphones plus 2,000 Ghana cedis. It's all going out. All I need you to do for me, please, if you have not as yet put your wow moment slip in the basket, please put it in now, because when we finish and we start picking out, don't say I'm now bringing mine. Just hand it over to the ushers and they will put it in the basket. Springboard began in the year 2007, January, at the Osu Ebenezer Presby Hall. Comfort and I were walking away from our business, and like every startup venture, we had no sponsor, we had no partner. All we had was a vision in our hearts. We looked out for an entrepreneur who believed in young people and went to him and said, "Senior, you know us, but you don't know Springboard. It's a new startup venture. Please sponsor us so that one day we'll raise young entrepreneurs and it will be a testimony for Ghana and Africa." At that time, he was the CEO of Databank. He wasn't finance minister, but he believed in us and sponsored us. Today, if you are enjoying Springboard, it is because 15 years ago, somebody just looked at us and said, these people are so passionate about young people, and therefore I want to invest in them. Way before he became a minister of state, he believed in Springboard. And even after becoming a minister with all his busy schedule, we approached him and said, we hear you and we hear brilliant initiatives for young people. We travel and meet the young people and hear a strong desire to do something. So we'll create a special platform, no noise, serious conversation about policy and young people. And since June, when we started in Tamale, there's been a total revolution in the relationship between young people and policy. And whenever we sit down and hear a statement on the floor of parliament or anywhere talking about youth entrepreneurship, we know that the young people of this country are at the very center of the conversation. Cape Coast, with a proper, befitting wow, let's welcome the Honorable Finance. Honorable has brought his bag, the bag that contains them. One more wow for him. Hello, Cape Coast.
Wow.
Honorable, before you speak, how does it feel to be welcomed so warmly into Cape Coast?
Hello, Cape Coast.
Wow!
Hello, Cape Coast.
Give a wave to those outside in their numbers on your screens. Wonderful. All those outside, you can wave your minister, let him know that you are watching from outside in the overflow areas. Let's hear a big wow for all those outside.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful. Minister, over to you. Please be seated.
Great, please be seated. Whew. You know, I was in Parliament on was it Friday, and the minority leader kept saying, "Ekromno ayesh, ahayesh," and this is a positive one. Hello, Cape Coast. Amen. Amen. My colleague, Deputy Minister John, it's good to have you here. And Vice Chancellor, really wonderful what and then of course to thank the Springboard team for an incredible partnership over 15 years or so, and for us to be here today. So Springboard, Comfort and Albert. I got into trouble the last time when I said that, you know, everybody should have their wife as their girlfriend. And I think, I still believe that. It solves a lot of problems. So let's continue with that. And then of course, Eva here, Director, leading of YAO, the Ghana Caresyouth program, and the team from Ministry of Finance. Where are they? You see the young people. Please get up. Yeah. The young people who are driving this change, and they always help to keep us over 60-year-olds young. So thank you very much. So what we do here is genuine, because your generation is right in our office to make things happen. And then there's always a question about why is this 7 to 9? And it's really just, you know, a verse of gratitude, which says, wear white all the time, anoint your head, and love your wife. Yeah? So that's where we are. You know, just a clear appreciation of how far God has brought all of us, wherever we are, and knowing very well that with the cattle in 1,000 hills, it could have been anybody, and therefore any of you can be in this position that I am in, because He chooses, and we need to be just obedient and show gratitude all the time. So good morning to you all, and it's a real privilege to be here. Learned a lot from my listening in today. I mean, I think John, Deputy Minister John, was very clear that we have to seize the opportunity where we are, and that these are destiny-changing moments for all of us. And like the sons of Issachar, what should we do? We should read the times and take advantage of that. So that's where we are. Then we talked about discipline from the head of KPMG as key ingredients for us to succeed. And if you look at Timothy, it talks about courage, it talks about love, and it talks about self-discipline. So the issue of discipline, and I think Mr. Sapon also mentioned the mindset change, and then long-term patient capital are also key issues that we know we should internalize into everything that we do. For our Vice Chancellor, I just have not heard such a revolutionary spirit, and we thinking about creating an entrepreneurial nation, and you know, thank you very much, and his commitment to an entrepreneurial university, and he said this is a call to action. So Vice Chancellor, we thank you for your vision, and this is important for the nation, for your leadership in this area. CBG, yeah, you know, the whole, when you get to a point of this nature, you know, it's a mindset shift, and therefore you need partnerships, because there are going to be sacrifices, okay? And all of us have to what we call burden share. How do we burden share? And I don't even know how to say burden share in Twi. Maybe, I don't know. You do, you, and no, yeah. So that's the point. So when you have the banking institutions coming through with our package of 10 billion intervention, and they themselves reading the moments, understanding where the nation should go, and having their own package to enablers. Enablers as in skills and training, enablers as in resources, you know. So what kind of financing package do we have to make sure it's long-term, to make sure interest rates are subsidized, and then you have the discipline of also paying back as the business progresses. And you can see the structure that CBG is talking about takes into consideration years have brought us to a point where we must collectively recognize that the nation, the state, as well-intentioned as it may be, cannot solve every problem. Indeed, we as Ghanaians are at our best when the private sector, working in conjunction with the state, places focus on economic dynamism, competition, and mobility. And I think there was a sentence that the Vice Chancellor used, that UCC, University of Competitive Choice. Is that it? So once again, he's even ahead of us. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. So that's where the concept then of burden sharing comes in. because indeed this is a clarion call for all of us to be positive agents of social change. And it's always scary when you are moving into new areas, but the state is saying the visible hand of the state would ensure that the enablers that are necessary, we are right there with you. And we are there with you because we share your pain, because we've been through what you have gone through, and we made. But all of our histories will let you know that we came from right where you are to be where we are today, and therefore you can more than do it, what we are doing today. So based on available data, we have some 58% of the population between 15 and 59. That's about 18 million people, okay? Of this number, 2.4 million are in informal employment, while the remaining 15 million are split between informal and underemployment, and also very vulnerable jobs. And the nation should not allow that to persist. We cannot allow our policy orientation to reinforce an equal opportunity for millions of our people. We have close to 11.7 million young people between the ages of 15 and 35, and an estimated 1.6 million are studying across the senior high school system and tertiary institutions. For us, as a government, our task is to ensure we extend opportunity to this pivotal demographic population, which is really, in the end, what is going to transform our society. I fear the consequences of having 11 million people with no clear path. Undoubtedly, our recovery efforts hinges on the provision of tailored support to provide skills and funding to our young people to pursue their ambitions, to free them, as Bob Marley said, free them from mental. You guys should know the reggae song, so is it too old? Yeah. So the man was very deep, you know. Yeah. So let's. An attitude, because that freedom empowers you to have a limitlessness in the way in which you do things. So the question is now, what is the sacrifice and bearing sharing that will move us towards an entrepreneurial nation? Do I expect resistance? Of course I do, but one must balance vested interests to make profit, to make progress. Change is uncomfortable, but we cannot let that inhibit us and disempower us. We are a great nation, and you should always realize where your forefathers wanted us to go. We have had a lot of discussions about the Youth Start program by Deputy Minister Honorable John, and also Kosi and John Sapon. So we'll get there. But I think really the heart of the matter, as we speak, is to really get personal so that you can realize that, you know, what we are talking about is not an issue of theory, but one that has been lived, one that you therefore have empathy for, and that you are sure that all of these bright faces there could be more than finance ministers or running their own Apple or, you know, whatever company you dream. Just be limitless in what you think of, okay? So a little bit of my background, so you can see that all of this is achievable, and that's what that the Lord has bestowed on me. So first of all, I'm sure like many Ghanaians, I was I was born out of wedlock, and so you can imagine what happened when my mother got pregnant in Chebi. And of course, my father was from the royal home, so it wasn't his fault. The woman is supposed to have trapped him for that to happen, which created, grave difficulties for mom and her family. And therefore, there was a big push for her to abort the baby, which is natural. With that type of pressure in a village in Chebi, you try to do that. But she had the courage not to do that and actually ran away from Chebi so that she could preserve the child. So this is me, but for a strong... Yeah. So, but for a strong young woman with clear values, it would have been very easy to take the easy road to go and abort. But she believed in God, she stayed firm, and this is the story. So then I grew up in Chebi, with the usual kaki stuff. Lived with my uncle who was a mile away from school. So every morning after you go to the river, put your cocoyam in your pocket, and then decide on the way to school whether you go to Brim to go and swim or whether you really go to school. And by the time you come home, your body, of course, is very white. So grandma will immediately see that, Akwe Wanko school. And he'll tell you, oh, Koyi be free, they are done on bread. Afe, ube do hono na watu denu. And ube brim will say. So that was it, And then at some point, Dad decided, I hadn't known him, I guess, for 10 years because he had not accepted that I was his child. But then he decided, for some reason, to recognize that, Nanayao, Nebao. So when he came from the US or Manchester University, coming to Legon, he decided that I should move in with him. Meanwhile, I'd gone to Chebi Government School and Kutubabi Experimental, all of those places where your English is a little challenge. And to imagine moving into Legon campus with my two young brothers who were speaking English, and then they added Kenneth to my name, which I couldn't spell, and then threw me into Legon Primary. And that also, you give just courage to Dad, because lots of men will leave you in the village stranded. And that then began the opportunity, almost like being given the opportunity now for senior high school to be able to then progress, So that's where it all began, and therefore I know Chebi like the back of my hand. Every corner that you can hide, where you can dance. I used to dance to be able to get some shea butter from the palace, etc., etc. So that's that. Then got into Legon Primary as he was a professor at Legon, and then got into Achimota School from there. So you can see the intervention of people being responsible, leading to changes in life. And I think this government, what we have clearly found out as a center-right party, that your key asset is the people. So even when they said that you won't find the money for senior high, President Akufo-Addo was like, forget that stuff. Prioritize it and let's see what happens. Today, 1.2 million people having the chance to change their lives, okay? So that's where we are at. And then that began a trajectory of changes in one's life because Mom made, a good decision. Dad was courageous enough to bring this lice-infested hair into their nice home in Legon and give ourselves a chance for common humanity. So little decisions we make, but that are of God, expands the chance for the world to change in a good way. Then I went to Achimota, got really pig-headed, got a distinction in my O-levels, started wearing the blue shirt in A-levels, and thought, life was just peachy. And of course, A-levels come faster than you think. Within 2 years, as entertainment prefect, I did everything perfectly there, enjoying life. And we had a Reverend Canon Ankara, who was the headmaster at that time. And once I organized a pop chain, which was illegal, and he came back, and the next Monday, he said, I told you guys that if you do anything wrong, I will deal with you. So he said, Ken, I know you are going to be a banker. I'm like, oh, I'd never thought of even that area. But you are fired, so you are no more entertainment prefect. And it took some humbling to understand, that when you go wrong, there should be punishment, and it gives you a chance for deep reflection to get back on track to the ancient paths which are important. So like any business, you fall, but the death really is being able to pick yourself up, and start again. And that is just the nature of business. So then I was able to get to America and went to Columbia University. God was really good. Managed to get into Wall Street in the 80s at that time, and therefore began to understand truly how the capitalist economy works, and an exposure to a lot of very wealthy people who were leading very, very simple lives. And that was, also another lesson in understanding that the wealth that God gives you is meant to be redirected to other people, and that your needs are typically minimal, and that is His charge for you. So I was away for about 10 years, 1980 to 1990, and I came back, to come and visit for the first time after a decade. And I went back to New York, feeling a very deep sense of emptiness, and saying, one should get out of this America thing and try to go home. And the question is, what are you going to do at home? It was one of those difficult political times where, the Ofori Atta name was not very sweet. So what are you going to do? And your parents are saying, Ghana is just not ready. But we decided to take the risk with Kelly Gajepo, Toba Fede, and then we set up DataBank. But you don't start an investment bank in Kantamanto, do you? That's crazy, But with faith, we said, well, this is what we want to do. This is what we love to do. We don't know whether it will make any money or not. It is really at the cutting edge of things, and how do we do that? And a cousin of mine had a construction company in Kantamanto offices, and he gave us 2 rooms there, and that's how DataBank started in 1990, with 3 precocious young people just excited about the future of bringing capital markets into Ghana, and saying, let's take the risk, And so that's how we began, in a small room, 2 rooms in Kantamanto, with everybody looking at us. America, because all of our colleagues were there in the banks, etc., etc. But the question is whether you want to create your own job or you want to be employed by somebody. and whether you can take that risk for doing that. And so we're fortunate, Mr. Faridonko and Mr. Fred Owari were able to give us $25,000 after a year or so to help us with the business, and this was debt. And every Monday you just dreaded the phone calls from the bank that it's time to pay up, you know. So we pretty much went ahead with not paying ourselves, but really managing to pay our 3 or 4 brave workers who had joined us. And that's how we built up one brick at a time for 30 years. So today, when you see a data bank managing about $1 billion worth of capital, it started, you know, from very, very humble beginnings. And I think Zechariah 4:10 says it all. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. And that was the lesson. Do not despise small beginnings. So you look at someone who could have been aborted, somebody who was walking a mile to school, if he ever got into school, because he went to swim, and then somebody who then was lucky enough to go to America, came back to pursue a dream with no certainty, and started an investment bank in Kantamanto, of all places, to where we are now. So that was great, and I became, as Albert said, this big CEO of a data bank, you know, with all the honors that there are. But I think at some point, God just said, you know, you are losing track. You are beginning to feel that you did it. It's your intelligence and power, etc. And so suddenly I came back from a trip, and the doctors discovered blood clots in my lungs. And that really, you should have died on the plane, huh? So rushed me to Kolebu, and Kolebu did a great job of melting away that. But it was during that period that one then began to reflect that, hey, Ken, you're now thinking you're somebody, but you remember how you started. Anybody could have been here, and a lot of my friends who had come from abroad had also come and gone back because they just couldn't adjust. So in that period then was my thinking that, you know, he created this data bank. He made you what you are. So maybe he's telling you to quit. Now quit to go and do what? You know, at that time, the economy was really shaky, and Nana Akufo-Addo was looking to be president. And so I decided, well, okay, let me go and convince my family that I want to be jobless. And I want to go and help with strategy and fundraising for this. This is crazy. So we had a long conference at home, and of course the kids were saying, so when I'm filling a form and they say dad's occupation, what should they put there? Let's make a decision. But Angie was great and said, you know, we came to Ghana with barely anything except our minds and the Lord, and so he will show you what to do, and it is he who will bless it. So we took the plunge, and from 2012, retired from DataBank as director. 2014, you know, cut all links with the company, and then focused on trying to help Nanado and the MPP to come into power, because I believe deeply it was time for a regime change at that time, and God's grace, that happened, and then also the impress on the president to give me this role that I have been blessed to have these 4.5, 5 years that have occurred. Thank you. So, I mean, the real import of all of this is to let you know that with God, nothing is impossible. You know, just obedience to him, knowing that whatever he gives you, he will guide you, he will protect you, and if you continue in that line, it is limitless what he can do for you. So when we sit in that office, it's not really a bunch of, at least Ministry of Finance, a bunch of rich fat cats who do not appreciate, what the work is from where you are. And therefore, this intervention of Youth Start and the 10 billion intervention is a crazy thing for our history, but it is what we must do to make sure that you can be standing where I am, because I believe you can. I was not, amen. I was not the smartest person at Chibi Government School or at Kutubabi Experimental School. But the Lord chooses to use whom he wants to use if we are in obedience to his call. So that is what the story is, and really to embolden you to know that you have friends who have walked your walk and who have been very poor before, and appreciate the limitlessness of what your mind can do for you and what with God you can do through you for the nation. So as we look at this budget, I ask myself, can we all have one language? Behold, the people is one, and all have one language, and they will not be restrained from doing whatever the nation has to do. And that is the talk. So when we say that we have an e-levy, we are asking everybody to put their shoulder to the wheel. How do we as a nation move into an entrepreneurial state in which all of you will have the opportunity to move forward, to contribute to where our society needs to go to? Three main intractable problems of our debt: how to reduce it, 2, employment, how to look at these 11 million people who are destiny-changing people and give them the tools to be able to do that, and how do we take care of our infrastructure and roads so that we open up the country and your mobility is enhanced, internet systems are there, so your market is no more just Ghana, it's West Africa, it's the globe. A nation that is modern, that is strong, with confident people, because they all know that they can be bigger than a Ofori Atta or an Akufo-Addo, because of just a deep confidence in themselves as to who they are. And Dankwa did say it, if you read some of that all of us are Adeshia. We are all royals, and we should therefore act in that responsible manner of royalty. So what are we afraid of? Why are we being resistant, to the future? And I say, as Roosevelt said in his 1933 address, we have nothing to fear but fear itself that cripples us. And that is what the devil does. He disempowers you. He puts you into a state of poverty, of aspiration. You feel you are nobody and that things won't change, and you get into this spirit of the 10 bad spies coming into us and telling us that, you are nobody and let's go back to Egypt. We are not going back to Egypt. We are moving Cape Coast. Cape Coast. Great. So that is the story. That is the story. Have we as a nation understood the times that we are in, and are we ready to sacrifice to move to a whole different level, or are we going to be quibbling about 1.75 and this and that, and allow the indignity of our children who are educated being at home because of the 1.75, which we will not feel at the end of the day. Calculate saving a bottle of Coca-Cola every day for 1 year. It makes absolutely no difference to you, and it ensures that the 11 million people will be employable. That is what we are talking about. So when somebody says that we shouldn't go there, tell them, give me an alternative for this 11 million people who are at home with the indignity of not working. Okay? That's it. And there's something she was saying. Kwan hunoma yefe. But yede neto. Yede sika neto. And yehona yeduno. Efe. And I mean, to be part, you know, of a change in a country's movement, you know, which is what the East Asians do. Very difficult moments in their history in which they determined that no, they are not going to be dependent on the global financial architecture, and they are going to work and sacrifice and move there. Not easy, painful, but that is what they chose to do. And they burden shared, you know, and understood, really, in the end, the common humanity of everybody here, to say, let's move forward. This is a decided moment of the times, and this is what we have to do to be the nation of the Black Star. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are. And let me, I mean, even in Parliament, I insisted on a little story that I thought was really relevant to our times and for us to realize who we are as a people. I mean, this is a country with a manifest destiny for greatness. It is. You know, you have this pyramid of development, which is political independence, which Nkrumah so forcibly brought to us and really captured the imagination of Africa and the world. And by the 60s, it was like a domino effect. All African countries were getting independence. And that was somebody from where? Nkrofo, who believed passionately in an idea. And so today, when we talk about the Fourth Republic and Ghana being an example of rule of law and democracy, because one man at some point had the courage to think that all these colonial powers could be eliminated from here. Then Akufo-Addo came, and he's saying, you know, our human resource, our capital for economic emancipation has to come from us. And that is where he charged the ministry, go find the money from wherever you can find it, and let's do it. Every citizen deserves a chance to manifest what God had purposed for him to do. But then, in another way, he also decided that, you know, there are three key pillars to this group: political, economic, and spiritual. And that's his decision that we should also build a national cathedral, so that it is evident to us as a people that it is these three pillars that will ensure that people are free, and politically there's a sense of economic emancipation through the economic strategies and what we have done to build people up. And then there's the spiritual, to ensure that our values are never corrupted, and we think about the common humanity of all of us. The common humanity of all of us. Whose child should not have the opportunity to be whom he has to be? And this is where burden sharing comes into being. So in a book by Tony DeMello, he tells the following story. A man found an eagle's egg and put it in a nest of a barnyard hen. The eaglet hatched with a brood of chicks and grew up with them. All his life, the eagle did what the barnyard chicks did, thinking he was a barnyard chicken. He scratched the air for worms and insects. He clucked and cackled. and he would thrash his wings a little and fly a few feet into the air. Years passed, and the eagle grew very old. One day, he saw a magnificent bird above him in the cloudless sky. It glided in graceful majesty among the powerful wind currents with scarcely a beat of its strong golden wings. The old grounded eagle looked up in awe. "Who is that?" he asked. "That's the eagle, the king of the birds," said his neighbor, the chicken. "He belongs to the sky. We belong to the earth. We are chickens." So the eagle lived and died a chicken, for that's what he thought he was. Are we going to allow people to convince us that we are chickens and lose the dominance of being an eagle, whom we are, to fly the skies? Then I said, "Mr. Speaker, we are eagles. We must eschew the language of poverty of aspiration, reject the 10 spies who want us to go back to Egypt. We are God's people meant for greatness. Let us fly." Cape Coast. Cape Coast. So we must fly. We must fly and truly experience the triumph of high achievement, because we can and we must fly. We are the black star of this continent, and we should emancipate not only ourselves but the black race. We cannot have 10 million people like you at home and then pretend that we don't have answers for it. But the answers will bite, but it will show our common humanity, putting our shoulders together so that we as one people will cross this Rubicon. So let's seize the moment. History is beckoning us. This is our chance to realize our potential, destiny-changing moment, a time to query anyone who says that we shouldn't bring the policies that we have brought to bear, and a chance for all of us to be part of it. It is time to cross the Jordan, and we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
If you agree that we have nothing to fear but fear itself, let's hear a warm Cape Coast round of applause for Honorable Kenneth Nanayao Ofori Atta. Let's put our hands together for him. Ken, that was absolutely inspiring. Thank you so much, sir. Please take a seat. And I love the bag. This time is green. One more time, a round of applause for the Honorable Finance Minister. If you just joined us, let's do this together. If you just joined us from anywhere all over the world, I have a funny feeling that those watching at home are having much more fun than those of us who are here, because they are asking questions, they are engaging the issues, and people are pleasantly surprised that we are having so much engagement here in Cape Coast. But I'm telling them on social media that Cape Coast is the best. We've gone to Tamale, we've gone to Sunyani, we've been to Accra. But officially, I say Cape Coast is the greatest. Let's put our hands together for Cape Coast.
Wow, that's a compliment.
I've listened to the keynote address in all the 4 cities, and today has been absolutely inspiring. And now we understand why youth entrepreneurship is so much at the center of this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, the number to send your questions to 0544 315165 0544 315165. Please send your questions. and we'll direct them to the Honorable Minister. Please take a seat, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm going to invite a few of the members of our team to join the Minister upstage. Just to remind you that after this brief colloquium, we will have a performance by Ochami Kwame, then we will give out the wow moments, and then it will be time for our refreshment. Thank you very much. So we'll have a very short, very short colloquium, very short colloquium right now, and we'll take just 5 questions, lump them together, and do it in the next 10 minutes so the Honorable Minister can leave us, and then we'll wrap this up. Are we all good? Are we inspired? All right, so let's start with the let me ask graciously that the Minister be flanked by Madame Eva Mens to the right, Madame Kosi Yankee to the left, Honorable Dr. John Kuma to the right, extreme right, and then Mr. Anthony Sapon of KPMG also join on the extreme left. And let's do this in a few minutes.
Let's show some love as they take their seats.
All right, so just some feedback for you. Let me start from Rachel Mensah from Commander College. Rachel, wave your hand. Rachel, I'm giving your comment to the Minister for you. Rachel says, Honorable Ken, first time hearing your story. I want to commend you for the wonderful presentation, and I love the story you ended it on. But then she has a question. Let's start with the question of Festus Ainu of the University of Cape Coast. Do you think our educational system has failed us, considering that the focus right now is on entrepreneurship? Do you think that our educational system has failed us, considering that the focus right now is totally on entrepreneurship? And any of you can take that. Anthony Sapon, let me give Minister a minute to catch his breath, and let me quickly take Anthony Sapon. Anthony, would you say that the educational system hasn't prepared us enough for entrepreneurship? Let's use 1 minute so that we can take as many as possible.
Thank you very much. When we talk about education, traditionally we are taught about the fact that we need to develop our mind, our heart, and our hands. And therefore, you will notice that over time, our educational system was based on these principles. But as time goes on and the world moves, and as with any human endeavor, you need to review whether what you're doing is actually meeting the requirements of the day. So first of all, my first response is that I wouldn't say it has failed us, because primarily education opened our eyes to be able to see around us and be able to see what the world is doing. But it's come to a time where we need to make it relevant for the time of the day. And exactly that's what we are doing. And if you are doing so, it's also because of the education you have to be able to think and act right and make it relevant for us today and in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the next question is, may I know the various startups that may be considered for technical and financial support and the criteria for accessing these opportunities? I don't know whether Kosi Yankee will take it or Honorable Dr. John Kuma. I want Minister to catch his breath and then give him just one question. So let's give this to.
So thank you very much. There are various startups. The goal of the Youth Start program is to give every youth their chance to be able to start a business using any idea they have in whichever sector, if it could be in transportation, agribusiness, technology. So there's no limit to what it is that you can dream about, that you can implement and get the work done. As much as possible, the goal is that we will take the process to people in various regions and the various districts so that they are not limited or hampered from accessing the opportunities that exist. So through the offices of the Ghana Enterprises Agency and NEIP across the nation, in almost every district of this nation, there'll be the opportunity for the youth with ideas, as I mentioned, in any sector that they want to start up, to approach the office. We'll also use technology for them to go online and apply, so that they are not limited or hindered by where they are or what it is that they want to start. So there's an opportunity for everyone, for every idea, for every startup that begins with the youth to take advantage of the government's opportunities.
Thank you very much. And no youth can be left behind. Somebody wants to ask about Wall Street. Nana Matigda one.
Definitely. So this one goes to the Honorable Minister, and the question says, thanks so much, Honorable Ken. In your presentation, you spoke on working experience in UK Wall Street, yes, and opportunities accompanied with it. But what motivated you to abandon it to set up a business in a third world country like Ghana?
Thank you very much. I'd been away since August 1980 and came back, to visit for the first time in April 1990. So that was almost a decade. And it just really struck me when I got back, the comfort level of being at home, and really saw the artificiality of what it was that I was doing in America and the impact that one could possibly have. So it was one of those decisions that decided that this yawning emptiness needs to be filled, and took the plunge. Fortunately, Kelly and Togwe Afede were all also, I think Togwe Afede had come home already, and Kelly was in Washington, and we started discussions, and we decided to take the plunge. After all, it is home. What could go wrong? So I don't know, but maybe the Holy Spirit was also really guiding the whole process, and we are here today.
Thank you very much. Inspiration from within as well as from without. Let's take two more questions, and then we'll take the last round of questions for the colloquium. The next question is, what are the qualifications needed to get a YouStart soft loan? Honorable John, will you take that, or I should bring CBG back? YouStart soft loan. He's asking, what are the qualifications? Since you mentioned there's no collateral, what are the qualifications?
Okay. So your first qualification is to apply. And when you apply, you go through a compulsory training session, the capacity building process, where assessment will be done either through NEIP or GEA. And then based on the assessment, they will determine your capacity and levels of support that you can receive. If you require the soft loan level, we will leave you at GE or NEIP. If you have to go to a scale-up level, we'll refer you to any of the participating banks. Thank you very much.
Great. So we move on to the last and final question. Finance Minister once said, we have the jobs. Kindly help me with this.
John, real estate.
Okay, so this is John A. Crash on my question is, what is the government's policy for the real estate industry?
I think in your presentation, Eva, did you mention real estate? John is asking about the real estate industry.
The issue really for us is how do you de-risk, private sector engagement. And I think real estate, right from the beginning in 2017, we removed certain taxes. Immediately we did that, so that was good. We are moving ahead with this Agenda 111, almost about 50 sites have been turned over to the contractors. And with that, what we said was, all of the construction has to be done by Ghanaians, and the equipment is different. So we were deliberate about ensuring that we build capacity for that. And our expectation is that each of these places would also adjoin some real estate for the workers, in those district hospitals move it. So real estate becomes very important, and the other area is to work with the pension funds, because in most modern societies, it's the pension funds that build the skyline and real estate. And so those engagements are going to go on to facilitate their support in pension funds. You also realize that we have introduced the Development Bank of Ghana, which is going to be a wholesale bank to be able to give long-term facilities to the financial institutions. That then will bring more capital into that area.
All right. I'll take 3 more questions to wrap up the colloquium. The first one is about empowering educational institutions. The second one is about mentoring already existing businesses. And the third one is about taxes. And there's also one about agricultural. Please respect the protocols you're using for the program and kindly take your seat. Thank you very much. So I'd like to batch the 2 questions about agricultural equipment and then existing businesses. Somebody's asking, how can already existing businesses be mentored and coached? And that is the question that somebody is asking. And then the other one is about agriculture being the mainstay of the economy, but challenges with tractors and combined harvesters. What can be done to support them? That is from Paul Nyagome. Paul is asking about combined harvesters and agricultural equipment. So 2 questions, let's batch them together. One about those who are already in business, not now going to start, mentoring and coaching for them. And then Paul is asking about agricultural equipment and combined harvesters.
Okay, I think I'll take that. On the Ghana Cares program, we are focusing on, as I said earlier, some agriculture and agribusiness. Part of that will include supporting existing businesses. In fact, our focus on the Ghana Cares, Youth Start has been taken out of Ghana Cares because it wants to focus on startups. But for Ghana Cares broadly, and Madam Kosi is here, we want to also support existing businesses, small businesses who want to expand, and we want to provide support financing for agri equipment and machinery that would add value to our agri produce, because we want to increase the shelf lives of the products we produce in Ghana, and also make sure that we do not have as much waste as we do now. I mean, those of us who have studied economics 101, if you ever studied economics in Ghana from SHS, you are taught that, post-harvest losses is one of our biggest challenges in agri production. We want to be able to address that. So, one, we want to add value, and then also we want to make sure that we provide you opportunity to export out of Ghana. So yes, there will be facilities for existing businesses, and that would include equipment financing as well. Thank you. I don't know whether Kosi wants to add something to it.
All right, let me take the last.
The issue of mentorship and SMEs. If you have an existing business that you want to scale up, you are also entitled. You can apply for support under the Youth Start. It's not only for startups. If you are an existing business and you want to scale up, you can also apply.
All right, Richmond has an idea that he wants to share. Then I'm going to do this one for you. Richmond.
Okay, so hello, this is Richmond. Could there be national entrepreneurship quiz amongst various schools? This is to sensitize the need for entrepreneurship in the country. This is a suggestion.
So since the science and math quiz has been so successful, Richmond says, please, his idea is that there should be an entrepreneurial quiz to increase awareness, and I think it's a brilliant idea. So let's put our together for Richmond.
For Richmond.
If there were a prize for the idea of the day, I think I'll give it to Richmond.
Wow.
Let's end on MK Salah. Achamikami, you love this one, because if you hadn't asked, you'd have asked it for him. So MK Salah is an upcoming musician and student of Commander. He says He sees music as dreamland where writers and singers live their whole life for just a few minutes in song. Is there any support? Where's MK Salah? Where's MK?
Oh, wow.
MK, you know what? I will not even ask your question. Just come and sit next to Chami Kwame. Come. I won't even ask.
Oh, yeah, and he gets a wow welcome from Ochami. Wow. And that's the beginning of his dream, you know? Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I tell you what, we made a promise. We made a promise to minister that we will keep him here till 10 minutes to 12. He has to go straight back into a meeting as a follow-up on Friday's conversations. And so, because of critical national assignment, we would have to say a wonderful, wonderful round of appreciation. Before we do the official send-off for him, let me say that right after he goes out, 2 more items to do. First is the performance by Ochami, followed by the wow moment, and then we say a closing prayer, and the refreshment is right in here. I am sure that if we left the minister alone, he would have stayed here till midnight, but duty calls him beyond what he can do. So let's all rise up with a massive, massive round of applause as we say thank you to Minister for joining. Hello, Cape Coast. I want a level 7 round of applause. Hello, Cape Coast.
Do we maintain our wow as he leaves? Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, your deputy and the entire team for joining us right here in Cape Coast. I hope you're getting ready for the wow moment.
All right, while Minister exits, can I have all the wow women coupons up front here? The moment this finishes, if your coupons are not here, you've missed your chance. Are you ready? Right up next is the wow moment, but before that, let's welcome my brother and my friend, Ochami Kwame.
Hello. I'm going to do just one song.